Newcastle United robbed in Paris tonight. Mugged in Paris tonight. Absolutely, categorically criminal. Criminal from the referee. The ball bounces off of the chest and stomach area. It hits the arm, yes, but it was in a natural running position. VAR caved. They caved in to the pressure that is Paris Saint-Germain, the buzz and the PR and the media attention around that club. They couldn't give the previous handballs. They couldn't give the previous penalties because they were not won. Paris Saint-Germain were going to be staring down the barrel of an early exit from the Champions League. And what happened? What happened? In the 5th minute of time added on, when there should have only have been 3 to 4 minutes added on anyway, there was barely any stoppages in that second half, and they were awarded an absolute non-penalty. I have no idea how that was given. Zero. And I've been very, very critical of Premier League referees this season. And we often hear it's just the Premier League referees. I say, no, it isn't. I think that is an absolute nonsense. I think that is cap. I think that is BS. Refereeing across the board has become a joke. It can't be handball. Earlier on in the game, almost an identical thing happened and it wasn't given. How can a man be running? The ball ricochet off of his stomach, stroke chest, onto the arm that's only out because he's running. Are we now suggesting that players have to run with their arms by their side? This wasn't even a bad call. This wasn't even following the law of the game. If it deflects off of your body in close proximity, it's not a handball. They absolutely caved in. And in my personal opinion, they caved in because they want to keep Paris Saint-Germain in this competition. Paris Saint-Germain are a huge brand. They're a huge company. Fans that support multiple other teams buy their kits, buy their training kits, watch them play, and UEFA want them to remain in this competition. And they would have been staring down the barrel and out of control of their own destiny had they gone out. And I think they felt that Paris Saint-Germain would score. I think they felt Paris Saint-Germain would win. But when it looked lost, when it looked over, when it looked finished, they awarded them the biggest non-penalty you have ever seen in your life. In your life. Now, they had a lot of the ball. They had 31 shots. They had the majority of the possession. Barring a couple of very good saves from Nick Pope, they missed the target with their shots. They were poor. They lacked clinical edge. You could argue with the balance of play. They deserve something from the game. Fine. Do it cleanly. To be awarded a penalty that isn't one has to be discussed. It has to be. They have gone against the law of the game. They have gone against the rules and the procedures that they have put in place. And for me, there is a stench in the air of corruption. Now, I know the mainstream media is going to protect the referees. I know the mainstream media is going to say it's dangerous to criticize the referees. No. This is what a lack of cohesion from fans does. This is what a lack of support from the media does. It allows VAR to dictate the storylines instead of the players. Now, VAR was brought in where if you were given a penalty like that, it could be changed because it wasn't one. And when VAR first arrived, that is what we saw. We saw bad decisions 9 times out of 10 rectified and turned into the correct ones. Now what we are seeing is scripts being written in a Kardashian-esque reality show TV approach to football. It doesn't need extra drama. It's the biggest, most popular, and best sport in the world. Nothing else comes close to European football. That is a cast iron fact. The numbers back it up. But they are damaging this game week in, week out, domestically, on a European level and more. That is bona fide robbery as far as I have seen it. And I told you all, when you come at me, when you think I'm out here defending Arsenal, why are you defending Arsenal? It's not about Arsenal. Why are you defending Liverpool? It's not about Liverpool. Tonight is not about Newcastle. It's about this game we love. It's about this game that is so ingrained within the culture of all of us individually, but within the majority of our nations. Whether it is France, whether it is England, whether it is Spain, Italy, Portugal, Brazil, Argentina, wherever you're watching, it is so integrated in our culture and our day-to-day lives. It's important. Of course, it's not as important as children or work or really important political matters, but it's a very important part of our lives. And to see it be treated like this is an absolute abomination. And for me, I'm going to say this now. People saying I'm mad. No, football is part of our culture. And it's something we care deeply about. Because it isn't just about the football, it's about everything that surrounds it. And I see some people in the comment section saying it's karma because of the Arsenal goal, the goal against Arsenal. That is not the attitude, Gooners. That is not the attitude. You should stand by them. Someone's got to draw a line and drop the tribalism. Who's going to do it? What fan base is going to step up and let bygones be bygones, drop tribalism and try and help football? Why is that so difficult? I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. Newcastle tonight, look, they didn't have the majority of the chances, but I think they deserved the win. I think they deserved it. They reduced Paris Saint-Germain to so many pop shots from distance that, yes, there was a great save from Nick Pope. My God, what a save. One of the best he'll ever perform. I haven't seen enough replays of it. I know it hit his knee. He might have hit his knee, then onto his arm, but how he saved that shot, I think it was from Bacola, out of this world. Mbappe should have scored towards the end and he missed. Yes, Ousmane Dembele, told you about that guy, lacks that clinical edge. Missed a really good opportunity, but they were missing and they were missing and they were missing because the defending from Newcastle United was absolutely brilliant. It was brilliant. And look, Newcastle are 18 months, 2 years into this rebuild under their new Saudi ownership. There is a long way for this team to go, but they were denied tonight a famous, hard-fought win for their club. Something that I do think would be ingrained as a stepping stone, a marker, a pointer to the future that they are very likely to have with the way they are now being run. There should be a thorough investigation. There should be statements released. In fact, there should be, listen, Newcastle got the money to do it, by the way. There should be a beyond an investigation into this, because for me, what all we saw tonight was 11 men on a football pitch, plus their coaching team, be mugged in full daylight with cameras in HD, 4K quality, 5K quality, pointing at them. And no one can convince me otherwise. It's never a penalty in any league, in any competition, anywhere in the world. Some super chats here. How about the other two that were not given? I don't think they were penalties either. The first one, you can't. First one, his hand was down by his side, very close proximity. I want to say it came off his foot, but it was very, very close proximity as an example. Anthony Gordon, for me, it wasn't given in real time. And then when you watch the replay, you could already see the player halfway down before that minimal contact is made. So again, for me, correct decision made. None of them were penalties, in my opinion. Maxi here says, I agree the penalty isn't a penalty, but it's consistent with how penalties were given in Europe. If it hits your hand, it's a penalty. They don't care. But the ball hit the hand earlier in the game, wasn't given. The ball didn't even hit his hand, it hit his elbow. And he was running and it deflected off of him. There's nothing you could do about it. We have to think about this as an example. That means defenders have now got to run with their hands by their side, which means they're never going to be able to win a tackle again. It's a nonsense, Maxi. It's never a penalty. Even the TNT sports commentators, that's a PSG fan, even said after seeing the replays that wasn't a penalty. Newcastle robbed from a gooner. Top man, Chris. Terry, as an Arsenal fan, I'm tired of this officiating. Newcastle got robbed 101%. That was never a penalty. The ref should have overruled VAR. Yeah, absolutely. German Chicken Wing says, stop it, Terry. They give those in the Champions League. I don't think... Listen, there was one that they gave against Man United last season in the Europa League where it deflected off of his shin or thigh onto his arm, and they later apologized for it and said it shouldn't have been given. That is not a penalty. If that's a pen, the one earlier is. So I need explaining why one is and one isn't. And I guarantee you they won't give you a detailed explanation as to why. Evening, Terry and everyone. How was that a penalty? Newcastle robbed. UEFA are a joke. Newcastle played well. I would like Newcastle to go through the fans. Do you know what's interesting about it? If that's a penalty, now when you're dribbling into the box and someone's running, just flick the ball at their arm. You're going to get a penalty. It's not hockey where if it just touches your foot, it's a foul. It's an absolute joke. In other news tonight, of course, Manchester City won. They were 2-0 down and staring down the barrel of a defeat that wouldn't have knocked them out the competition. But listen, they started a strong team. They took off Grealish. They brought on Doku. And that, for me, is when it all started to change. His presence on that football pitch is just something else. I was thoroughly impressed with his impact tonight. Alvarez, again, with another top performance in a Manchester City shirt as well. He came on at the same time. And when him and Doku came on, there was just a different level to Manchester City. Goals from Haaland, goals from Foden, and then topped off very late on by Julian Alvarez to give City another win. They're now looking at 5 on the bounce. They could win, I think for the first time ever, could win their opening 6 games in the group stages. They'll probably have a little bit of a rest for the next game. But just goes to show you could be 2-0 up after 30 minutes against Manchester City, and it still does not guarantee you the 3 points or a win or whatever it may be. And demonstrating again the absolute quality that they possess as a football club. And a lot of people the other night on the last night, on the Top 6 show, were talking about Foden and doesn't take responsibility and he isn't that good. Showed up again tonight. I don't get listen, the one thing I'd say about Foden, I don't think he gets enough. For me personally, I would like to see him get more game time. And I think if he moved to a different football club and was playing week in, week out, you'd see even greater levels from him. But he's a top class player, and I don't ever really understand why he is questioned. Some more super chats here. It says a good point. I'm just thinking back on the Martinez handball. VAR should get binned anyway. It's too subjective, and the rest love the power. Newcastle robbed. 2-0 down is a death sentence. Oh, sorry. Newcastle robbed. City 2-0 down is a death sentence. Yeah, it can be because it changes the way you play. As a gooner, Newcastle was robbed. Didn't deserve it, as in PSG. No, I agree. I don't think they deserved it personally. I don't think they deserved it at all. We're going to bring the panel out now to have their say on this. I'm intrigued. We've got D-Man coming on. We've got Strasbourg Steve. And we've got Man Like V. Vaters coming on the show with us to have his say on this. But if you could do us a favor and hit the like button. I know it's not the result a lot of Newcastle fans or football fans in general wanted to see tonight. But if you can hit that for us, that would be great. I'm going to bring the boys out now to have their say on this. Welcome, gents. I want to go to D-Man first of all and say commiserations, really. I know it's not a defeat, but how does it feel to essentially lose in that way?
I feel sick, to be honest. Sick, disgusted, disappointed. Proud of my team, though. I thought we performed great. Didn't deserve that result. I think we were good enough for the win. If the ref wasn't good throughout the rest of the game, I would have said corruption, because I don't know what's going on. How we can give something like that, a decision like that, when it's come off his body first. is embarrassing. I thought we defended very well, got the early goal. Nick Pope was very good, was amazing. I thought to a man, we were amazing, and we didn't deserve to be robbed like that in such a manner. First, where did he get 8 minutes from anyway? Injury time. I don't know where he got that.
It was the 2 VAR things. There was also the probably just it probably was a little bit of
I'll give it 6 minutes. 6
yeah,
minutes,
I was that, but you never know.
Yeah,
but
sucks. They need to come out and explain how they've come to that decision, because I'm still scratching my head. I've seen it from every
there was no goals. There was only 4 substitutions in 3 spits. And yes, they had those 2 VAR stops, but those VAR stops were like 30, 40 seconds max.
They were very quick.
Well quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I want to give a shout out to our players though, because like I said, Nick Pope I thought was excellent. Our defense was very good. Miguel Almiron worked his socks off. He was amazing tonight. And listen, it was a good goal we scored. I thought obviously we didn't keep the ball as much as I thought we could have done. We were pumping it long way too early. But when you're away from home against a team like PSG, who've got the attacking talent that they have, you know, it's no surprise you've got to sit back. And we know how to defend. We're well drilled. You know, we keep it tight. We know what we're doing, and we could have been thinking we're almost through. Now we've got to do it the hard way, home against Milan, and hope get a favour from Dortmund, which I think is possible. But it's a real kick in the teeth, man. It's a real kick in the teeth. They gave everything, and they came back with what feels like nothing. I know it's not nothing, but at the beginning of the game, we would have taken a point. But given those circumstances and the way we played, deserved all 3. And you know, to keep, you know, they had their chances, but you never really thought they were going to score from open play. I thought we controlled it quite well. And again, I just can't get my head around it. I'm just disgusted, man. I just can't. I'm lost for words, man.
Yeah, I hear you, Steve. Are you feeling the same? Do you feel cheated tonight by that very strange penalty decision?
Sometimes bad calls happen. I just it's one of them ones where it's I just think about it differently personally. It's a kick in the nuts. That bro, my heart. 2 things. I'm proud to be Newcastle, man. Like those guys, and that's the thing that I'm taking away from this. The penalty is it's crap. It's awful. Sometimes it just happens, man. Sometimes you have a girlfriend and you think you're gonna last her the whole time. You get your heart broken. Sometimes you get a dream car and you crash it.
Bro, he looked at that decision. He went to the monitor. He looked at. He studied it, and he's seen it come off his body. How can you justify giving that penalty, especially when you didn't give?
I'm not justified. I don't know what else to say.
The thing is, this isn't like crashing your own car, though. This isn't like losing a girlfriend. This is like somebody kidnapped your girlfriend and then crashed your car on purpose. Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Sometimes it happens to all of us. I don't know, man. I
hear you.
You know what it is? I'm just so damn proud because I thought we were gonna get blitzed like 4-1, to be honest. So you know what? I took a minute and I was like, we got a point. It should have been. I get it. But one thing also that is kind of haunting me a little bit, Isak did miss a chance early in that first half. And that just it's the inconvenience.
Yeah, but he made up for it. He made up for it.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's still he did miss. So that's one. It's.
I hear what you're saying there. V, you were gonna say something a second ago, bro.
Yeah, like guys, I don't know. I can relate. Not too long ago, I exited out of the Champions League because of a head-to-hand call. Laporte versus Real Madrid.
Exactly.
Head to hand, and we were out, obviously. So it's a terrible call. It's so inconsistent. I don't get how they now go to the monitor and they look at whether it was an advantage or not. Like there's some things. Do they expect you to not play with your hands, even when you're jumping for a ball? Like there's hand to ball and there's ball to hand. Like it's right. Crazy. And if this is how you guys exit out of the Champions League. It's crazy.
It sucks, but you know what it is? We have Milan at home. Take their anger out on them.
But the problem is you're not.
But it's a different approach to the game that you have to take.
I understand. I understand you. I get where you're coming from because there isn't anything that can be done about it now. But as football fans, our job at times is to discuss these situations. And for me, if you're giving that handball, why did he not give the one earlier in the game? I cannot. This one is less of a handball because it hits his body and then strikes his elbow, which is in a natural position because he's running. So from my point of view, where people are saying to me, yeah, but I've seen these given before, I understand that. But what we should be demanding as fans, what the media should be supporting us with because they have access, and what Newcastle should be releasing a statement to hear is the difference, a detailed and thorough explanation as the difference between those two handballs. Because at least what that would do for us, if they're telling us the truth, is educate us as fans so we don't get as frustrated, we don't get as annoyed. But we know they're not going to do that. We know it, but we have to call it out. We have to ask for it to expose the nonsense. So I understand these have been given before. I get other people have been done by them. But this whole like rolling over and going, well, I'm just going to let my belly be tickled because that's the way it is. Well, that's how this shit will continue. That's how, do you know, it kind of, it was weird. I didn't think they were going to score against you tonight.
Oh, I didn't either. Yeah,
I didn't think they were going to score. But when they gave that penalty, it was almost as if, it was almost like UEFA. This is how it felt. Like UEFA were in their ear and said, look, PSG are about to go out and we thought they'd have scored by now and they haven't. You've got to give this.
Terry,
Of course, that's not what was said, but that is how it feels watching it.
But Terry, imagine this game that we love played before it was televised. Imagine some of the decisions, some of the things that happened before they actually had to be accountable because the game wasn't broadcast around the world with hundreds of cameras. Like
but
this,
do they have to be accountable for that?
Nothing about it, right? So there has to be an investigation. There has to be clarification on why it was called.
There does. But having said that, the handball rule was so basic before there was cameras. It was almost if you had to basically be a player trying to save it with your hand for it to be given as handball. I'm not too sure what's happened to my camera there. Sorry. So it's one of those things for me where those types of things were never given as handball years ago. They genuinely weren't. And people were laughing, saying, why an investigation? No, I'm sick and tired of us. We need to demand explanations because at the very least, I want to be educated. I want to understand. And maybe if they give us a detailed explanation, we go, actually, I don't like the rule, but it makes sense. Then we know. But I can guarantee you tomorrow night, if it's 2-2 between Napoli and Real Madrid, and that happens to a Real Madrid defender, they do not give the penalty.
Nope.
They don't give it. I guarantee they do not give it. The same as I said to everybody when your goal was given and they said, oh, it's because they couldn't tell how much Joe Linton, how much pressure he put on the back of Gabriel. I said within the first weekend back of Premier League football, there'll be a decision where it goes the opposite way. And we saw it when there was the smallest nudge on Alisson and it wasn't given because we know as football fans when we're being bullshitted. We know as football fans when we're not being told the complete and utter truth. And for me, it's sad. I want to do some of these super chats that have come in here, gents. This one says, we Arsenal told everyone that it was us a few weeks ago, but it would eventually happen to their club. And here we are. No sympathy at all.
Hey, listen, these Arsenal fans need to stop, man. Like, get over it. Get over it. This has nothing to do with you, but you're bringing it back to that nonsense that happened a couple of weeks ago. Just take the L and move on, and it gets on my nerves.
Ginger Bish says, just chuck VAR in the bin. Newcastle robbed 100%. And I would agree with that. I said it at the top of the video, and I've been saying it for. I loved VAR when it first arrived. Genuinely loved it because it was rectifying bad. I felt like it 9 times out of 10 rectified a bad decision. Now it seems like it's given them on purpose. That's how it feels. This Harold here says it's a given, but a new Haaland record today, fastest player to reach 40 goals, and probably the youngest as well. VAR makes it easy for corruption. I didn't. So, he hit 40 Champions League goals today, Haaland.
God damn, he is a monster.
That's a
monstrous.
And I think he's already top 12 or something like that on the all-time list.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm going to go and have a little look on that now. I haven't actually looked at it for a while. All-time goals.
Can I just say,
yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, like, I get it about the penalty stuff. I get it. But you know what it is? I do feel like for me, I'd rather talk about our players, how we played, how well we defended, how all 11 of those guys without a substitution held.
Yeah, I'll come to that in a second. Let me just finish this super chat, bro. Let me just finish the super chat, and we'll come back to that in a second. Yeah. So looking at the list, no, that's the all-time, right? So he's on 40. So yeah, he was already at 20th. He stays 20th. So he's one behind Aguero, who's on 41. My camera keeps freezing for some weird. I've got a new desktop today to stream with, and it's not my camera's going weird with it. He's one behind Aguero. He's two behind Del Piero. It's crazy. He's two behind Mbappe. He's caught him up almost. He's three behind Neymar, four behind Drogba, four behind Salah, six behind Inzaghi, six behind Eusebio, eight behind Ibrahimovic, eight behind Shevchenko, nine behind Stefano, and 10 behind Henry. And the reason why I've named those is because I got a feeling he could overtake all of them this season. This guy, by the end of the season, could be in the top 10 Champions League goal scorers of all time. And people said I'm crazy when I said last season that this is the best finisher we've had in Europe since R9. I don't understand still why that is such a controversial statement. He is not the best striker because there's more that goes into it. But in terms of finishers, goal scorers, I mean, you could argue he's probably better than R9 at this age.
No. R9 is my hero. We can't have
just on that one skill of finishing. I'm going to go out on that one. But outside of that, look, every other element I'll give to R9. Yeah. But on finishing, when you think this kid's on 4, I don't even know how many Ronaldo got in this competition. It ain't very many.
He didn't get many.
Like, to be on 40 in his early 20s, and by the way, he's only played 35 games.
Yeah, that's
he hasn't even peaked his powers yet. He's developed
it's
not even
crazy. So he's got the best goals to game ratio ever. The closest to him was Gerd Müller, who got 34 goals in 35 games. Puskas got 36 in 41. It's a lot of the older players. Lewandowski's is pretty high on 92 goals in 114 games. If this man, I'm just looking at his ratio, right? Just to put this into context. If he maintains this ratio, okay, and then plays 100, not even as many, like Messi played 163 and Ronaldo played 183, but let's just do Lewandowski's numbers of 114. If he maintains this ratio for 114, that would put him 9 behind Ronaldo if he keeps this up for nearly 80 games less than Ronaldo. This guy, he could break that. He might not break the all-time goal scoring record of Ronaldo or Messi, but I think he's going to break the Champions League one. I don't see why he won't. I can't see why he won't.
I think that's going to be his target to pursue. And another thing is the only man that can stop Haaland is Pep. When he was on the brink of breaking the record, right? He got subbed off. So it's insane on what he's able to do. The only man that stops him is Pep. And we're still trying to figure out how to best get to him and give him the balls to release him to attack and kill other teams. So Haaland's phenomenal. You guys can have your eye test. You guys can say he's not generational. You can do whatever you want. But in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, there's no one better.
No, that's true. But if Pep finds out he's close to a Messi record, he's cutting him.
Just to put this into context, if he plays as many games as Ronaldo and maintains this rate, again, my camera is decided to freeze again. If he maintains it, fuck it, let me read this number out. So if he plays as many games in the Champions League as Ronaldo, he'll score 210 goals. That showed you how good the current rate is. And to put that into context, that would be 60, 70 more Champions League goals than Ronaldo. So in the Champions League, his goal per game ratio is so good. If he continues that and plays as many games as Ronaldo, the thing is, I don't know if it depends on injuries. Like, you've got to go into your late 30s to play that many games. But yeah, wow. It just shows what he's done so far. This year says they only need a Dortmund draw and win with AC Milan. And do you think you can do that, Steve? I know you said you were proud of your team tonight. Do you see that as being doable?
Yes, we can do it. And people are saying that, Dortmund are going to play a C team. That don't happen. They're fighting for first place. Paris Saint-Germain, if they win the game away to Borussia Dortmund, PSG will go top over Dortmund.
And Dortmund
spot matters.
Yeah, Dortmund would rather Newcastle go through than PSG. they'd rather Newcastle go through than PSG.
There you
Get rid
go.
of another.
But they have
another-
motivation to win. They're gonna have a
Yeah, I think they'll do
go
it.
wall behind them. They have a good home record. We're at home. We're gonna be pissed off. We're gonna be pissed off this Saturday. And you know what it is, Terry? I am a very, very firm believer in karma. So we'll just see how that goes. And you know what karma does. It always equals out. Equilibrium. So it might result in us exiting in this competition, but you know what?
It might
give us that little lady luck when we need it.
It'll be interesting. Seeing Newcastle fans complain about refs after what happened against Arsenal is funny to see. It happens. I think it means brush yourself off and try to get a result against Milan.
But do we really think that the decision Newcastle Arsenal was as bad as this decision today? Because this was clear cut. The other one I don't think was as clear cut. This one was stonewall corruption. The other one weren't corruption. It might have been a mistake, or it might have been an oversight, but this one was bad. Yeah, I don't think you compare the two.
It was terrible. Yeah, of course.
Arsenal fans they're just crying based off of the result and at the time what it meant in terms of being top of the league. They're still upset about that because they know how tough
They are
this league
still
is.
hurt. AMT says hypocritical refereeing. First handball was not given, but second one was because both wasn't penalties. I couldn't agree more. Refs buckled under the pressure, clearly. Yeah, listen, I agree with that. I am the one who questioned Foden because he does not deliver for the talent he has sometimes. By the way, Foden always starts for City out wide. As an attacking midfielder, his performances are rarely great. Thank you for the super chat. Go on, V. What'd you say about that?
Listen. I need to dead this. Foden's got the talent. He's got the quality. He's got the skill set. He's legit. Questioning him it makes no sense to me. I also want to say this: any player, whoever you have on your team, rivals, if your player was at City, he would be a rotational player as well. He would not have a locked set position because Pep doesn't do that with some of his best players. So understand that. Understand that. Don't slight Foden for the fact that he sometimes plays wide, sometimes plays central, is on the left and right. Because the same thing would have been done for your player being over at City. Because Pep challenges players that way. And it shows the quality that Foden has. Let's relax on this. Look what he just did tonight.
Yeah, I think Foden's excellent. I get what people want more delivery, but what I find interesting, and maybe I'm not calling you out, super chatter. How do I pronounce that? Is that Koshi for life? He delivers more for you, in my opinion, outputs wise than Grealish, but Grealish seems to be left alone. And I'm not saying you should attack Grealish and not him, but I never quite understand why Foden gets the attention, but he delivers more than £100 million Grealish who doesn't. But I suppose we all have players we protect at certain clubs. Nathan here, who is a Liverpool fan, says just watched it back and it's never a pen. VAR is destroying this sport and it's a piss take. Excuse my French, not a problem, my friend. This is YouTube. Paul here says, I was upset for Newcastle, but with the fans' attitude about Arsenal, like you just said, take the L, move on, no sympathy at all now, is what's been said here.
Cool. I don't care.
Jabbo says, Arsenal fan here, no sympathy for Newcastle, justice serve for all Arsenal fans. Come on, you gooners. We're joined here by Gio. How you doing, mate? Obviously, you're going to play Newcastle now. How do you see that going on the final group game?
Oh, man. I mean, it's a shame with that penalty because if they would have beat us, they would have had a chance to go to the next round. I mean, I don't know who we're going to play, Terry, out there in Newcastle. I follow the Premier League a lot. It's going to be tough, man, and especially with us. I think we have like 293 muscular injuries, Terry. So I don't know who's going to show up for that game. I don't know. We might put in a lot of U19.
Did you see the penalty? Did you see the penalty tonight?
Yeah.
What did you make of it? As a neutral to it, what did you make of it?
That's not a pen because I think Milan had the same type of penalty this weekend versus Fiorentina. It hit the hip. It was close to the body, and that's why they didn't give it on Loftus-Cheek. You know, VAR is just like I don't know. I think you said it best, Terry. I think they like all the bad publicity because that's all everybody talks about. It's not a day in y'all call it football, I call it calcio. like that VAR is like the main talking point at the end of the day. I mean, whether they say that Newcastle didn't deserve to win or not, like, bro, like you score the goal and then you lose like that. You're out there fighting. This is Newcastle's first year in the Champions League. They're out there fighting, and I know what it is. And that's what we did in our first year back after 7 years. Like, we're just fighting, and then they did the same to us with Atletico Madrid. They gave Kessie a red card, and it wasn't never a red card. So VAR has been messing up for the last years, but now I think it's being more addressed just because of the Premier League, how the popularity is out here. I live in the States, NBC and Peacock, they're blasting it all over it. And I think, but the Premier League loves about it. They think bad publicity is good publicity also.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I want to read this out. This is just, someone just sent this through to me. So this is the official word from UEFA at the beginning of the season. They said in their guidelines for next season, the board recommends that UEFA should clarify that so it says here, have clarified that no handball offense should be called on a player if the ball is previously deflected from his own body, and in particular when the ball does not go towards goal. So it's deflected off his body and was not going towards goal. So by their own admission of what shouldn't be, and that's why when you see that replay and you see it hit his body, I know what you would have thought, D-Man. Your first thought would have been, oh, thank God, no penalty.
Yeah, of course.
Because you know we all know the laws. We've been told the laws. The fact that, wow, that is absolutely horrendous.
It's scandalous. Absolutely
horrendous.
Scandalous.
To read that description and that just, they've seen it and gone, we're going to ignore that, mate, and put this through is crazy.
You have to come out and justify, like you said, justify how you've made that decision.
They have to. This year says Pep Guardiola does trip himself over sometimes. I think Rico should play more. And even though Phil Foden is inconsistent, he is a better 10 than Julian Alvarez. Do you agree with that, V?
See, Julian's not a 10. He's a tweener. He's a 9. He plays off of the 9, so he's like a 9.5. But I do. Huh? He's not
narrow,
a 10. No, but see, he's
narrow.
not. Yeah, he's not that one that's gonna like be creative and release some of those passes. But I think Foden's better suited for that. Obviously, playing a little more central. But what do I sound like when I say Pep's got too many weapons to use? It's just Foden and Alvarez. The fact that we also have Haaland as attacking players, it's congested. But I think when KDB comes back, and this is the problem, when KDB comes back, Pep's going to have a problem on how he chooses to have Foden, have Alvarez, and then obviously with the addition of Doku from a player standpoint. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? I find it when I hear City fans talk, I think back to when my team was good, and I had favorites and I had players that I wanted to see play more, but I just trusted my manager in what we were doing so much that we just didn't get into it as fans.
Yeah,
it's a weird one. Haaland's goal scoring rate would still be 300 behind CR7. I mean, that's what Ronaldo's crazy, but at the same time, all it's going to take though is a few of those explosive years from Haaland. Remember, he hasn't even hit his peak yet. £2 for the emotional Arsenal fangirls in the chat. Thank you, Ginger Bish. There's been an Arsenal fan here who have been sympathetic with Newcastle. Then comes this wannabe Bob Marley. You know what? That's a little bit offensive, bruv.
That's fucking racist. You're just a piece of shit, but all right, move on.
Crazy, bro. Like
that's disgusting. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Look yourself in the mirror when you say shit like that. Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your mother gave birth to you, and you're calling a black man a wannabe Bob Marley just because he has dreads. What the fuck is wrong with you? Honest to God.
There we go, AJ. You've been told, mate. You've been told. Can Haaland achieve all that with Pep? Without Pep. I thought maybe not. I think he's going to score. I mean, you got to remember, he was scoring at a great rate at Dortmund. As long as he's at a proper good club that creates chances, he'll score a lot of goals. There's no doubt about that in my mind at all. Yeah. Saka would sit on the bench for Bernardo at City. Okay, fair enough. Okay, mate, probably. Karma for me, they said it evens out today. We saw is what Terry Tibbs says here. As a Chelsea fan, seeing that Ruben Loftus-Cheek performance was disappointing. Tomori was okay, but personally, Newcastle will have them if Dortmund beat PSG. You never know. Well, it is away at Dortmund, so it's going to be hard. And PSG are not that good, in my opinion. I don't think they're that good. If I'm being honest,
they're terrible.
Yeah. Stream here says it's like the refs have been reading Eric Bischoff's controversy creates cash. How can you see a replay and still give the wrong decision? Yeah, I agree completely. AMT here says, after hearing that ruling, at least the referee should be banned. After hearing that, like, I don't understand how he can. I know this guy was a World Cup final referee and the Champions League final referee. I don't see how he can't be in so much trouble after that. For me, Foden more naturally gifted than all the City midfielders and wingers. That is why I criticize him. Today we say what we should do more consistently. There we go, my friend. I appreciate that. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the show today. We're going to be back tomorrow with more content for you. As ever, D-Man, Steve, Man Like V, thank you all very, very much for coming on and having your say. To all my super chatters, barring one of you, thank you very, very much indeed. Nick Pope is better than Donnarumma. By the way, saved by Nick Pope. Just want to get your take on that, boys. It's ridiculous.
Outstanding. I thought that was in. Great save.
Three of them. You had three incredible saves from Pope. First of all, you had in the opening 5 minutes, it was that back heel from Mbappe. He had to make like a hockey goalkeeper save with his legs. The second one in the first half, when Dembele just poked it, Nick Pope couldn't even stretch with his right arm when he was going this way, and so he had to extend. He extended that to the full. Oh my God, he was outstanding tonight, bro. Yeah, as a shot stopper, unreal.
Yeah, it was class, that save. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, I appreciate it, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Look after yourselves. And we'll